Hey. Happy Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday for a minute there. Getting ahead of myself. I was talking to someone, what was it? It was actually a few days ago about caffeine, and I've mentioned it a couple of times on a couple of posts, so I thought I'd look a couple of things up and to share what I learnt about it. I'm talking caffeine, not necessarily just coffee, but caffeine in whatever form you might consume it. Caffeine is considered to be a drug. It's also considered a food additive. It affects everybody differently, and that can sometimes come down to your genes. For some people, it can cause irregular heartbeats. We've got sleep problems, jitters, anxiety, even restless legs, restless muscles, things like that. So it affects everyone different. So based not just on genes, it can be size, your weight, your health. What else have I got? The amount you've taken, whether you've used it with in combination with other stimulants, and whether or not you're used to taking caffeine. So those things can affect the effect. And I hope I got the effect and effect right. But anyway, I'm not going into grammar right now. I'm going into caffeine. So the interesting thing is that I was trying to explain to someone last week and I couldn't remember the science or the technical terms. So I've had a look, and it's actually, I've got it right now, but I've written it down anyway. The caffeine molecule binds to adenosine receptors, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, adenosine. It's a neurotransmitter, adenosine, that under normal conditions promotes sleepiness and tiredness and fatigue. So in the morning when we get up, we don't have much of it, and throughout the day we produce more and more of it, which makes us tired and more tired towards the end of the day. So what happens is the caffeine molecule mimics it and binds to those receptors, and it doesn't actually activate the receptors, but it stops adenosine being able to bind to them. So caffeine doesn't really give you energy. What it does is give you a false sense of energy. And I have to say, I like that. It doesn't bother me at all. And I'm not judging anyone else whether you like that or not. When these receptors are blocked and you can't get the I'm tired and I'm fatigued or I'm sleepy thing until the caffeine starts wearing off. Caffeine has a half-life too. And in fact, for some people, the half-life, genetically again, the half-life can be quicker than in other people. So some people might have caffeine that lasts 5 or 6 hours, and another person can have the same dose and it might only last 2 hours, and it's metabolized a lot quicker. So quite often when that starts wearing off, that's when you have like the caffeine crash and you just suddenly feel fatigued and that's when people head straight for the next coffee or the next caffeine shot of some sort. Of course, caffeine activates neural circuits rather, and causes the pituitary gland to, secrete hormones, which in turn stimulates adrenal production and cortisol production. The adrenaline increases your attention level and gives your entire system a burst of energy. And that's what I like about having caffeine. I like the mental clarity I get from it. Otherwise I feel a little bit foggy. It also increases the production of dopamine, which is the brain's pleasure circuits. That's why caffeine can become a drug of dependence, because it's pinging those little pleasure circuits in your brain. And withdrawal from caffeine can include headaches, nausea and sleepiness, but that only affects 50% of individuals, which I thought was kind of quite interesting. Some people will get those side effects and some people won't. I've never had to detox off caffeine, as far as I know. I've never been that addicted to it. I used to drink a coffee a day and a cup of tea a day, and that was it. And nowadays I actually really don't have coffee or tea anymore. I have herbal teas, but I do have hello. video. I'm just doing a video.
Sorry?
I'm just doing a video.
Sorry.
You're right. I have caffeine that's extracted from green tea, but it's also got herbal adaptogen additives to it, which actually helps with those stress levels. So when I am releasing a bit of adrenaline or cortisol, these herbal adaptogens help deal with that as well. So that's something for you to ponder, and maybe in my next talk I'll talk about the different sources of caffeine, because that's another interesting conversation as well. I think I've covered everything I wanted to today, so I hope you're having a great day, and my gratitude for today is my caffeine shot. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.